Hey, Cameron here. And I've got a few things to say. Mostly, it's about how Fox is having a bad week. The first thing I want to talk about is how Gambit is stuck in production purgatory. We have Channing Tatum cast as Gambit, and we know that he's probably going to do a great job when we can finally stick to a director and get it done. We've lost our now third director for this project, and now the release date is set for February of 2019. Are we going to get a Gambit movie in February 2019? My money is no, because they don't have a director scheduled right now, and the longer that they take to get a director, the longer it's going to take for them to finish the movie. And by the time they do finally nail a director down, Disney may have the rights to everything, and they may say, oh, we're going to shelve the project. The fact that Gambit doesn't have a director at this point, I don't think that it's going to happen at all. Fingers crossed that it does. Everybody likes a card-throwing mutant, but only time will tell. Item number 2 on the agenda, and this one's pretty bad. The New Mutants movie that was set to release this year in April has been pushed back, and I mean way back, to the end of February 2019. Yeah. We're not even in February yet in 2018, and it got pushed that far back. We had a trailer. We had a trailer that released. My brother, in my 2018 hype video, said that New Mutants was his honorable mention. He was looking forward to a horror genre mutant X-Men film. And now he's going to have to wait until the end of February for it? And speaking of which, remember when I said that Gambit was set to release in February, and now New Mutants is also going to be released in February? I mean, that's just too much Fox in February. I don't think I have that many Fox to give for February. That's going to be an issue. And the last movie that I remember that got this kind of production pushback was G.I. Joe Retaliation. I'm sorry to those of you who watched G.I. Joe Retaliation and had successfully blocked it from your memory, and you were a happier person because of it. Because that movie was terrible. I watched it in theaters. Yes, they got my money. Kudos to you, G.I. Joe Retaliation. But I remember that they pushed it back a long ways. I remember they pushed it back to add more Channing Tatum. There's that name again. And they also wanted to add a 3D effect to it, which I don't care how beautiful the 3D is, to have a story that terrible, you put flowers on poop, it's still poop. So I'm not looking forward to this pushback. As little as I was looking forward to New Mutants, because it really wasn't high on my radar, it's even worse now because of this 10-month pushback. Maybe they're doing reshoots, maybe they're going in a different direction, I don't know, but this doesn't look good. Now we get to item number 3, and some people actually like this. I do not, and that is that the Deadpool sequel has been moved from the 1st of June up to the middle of May. I particularly do not like this move, and here's the reason why. May has 2 big movies coming out as far as blockbusters are concerned. That Marvel's Avengers Infinity War and Solo, a Star Wars movie. Both of which franchises are owned by Disney. So at this point, May 2018 might as well be called May, brought to you by Walt Disney Studios. So now, Fox has inserted their hottest property as of right now in the middle of this. And some people say, oh, it's good for competition to have their, to have their most popular entity be square in the middle of this. And I say, no. It's not good. What it's going to do is that it's going to cannibalize the amount of box office dollars that all of these movies are going to get. Is Infinity War going to be fine? For the most part, yeah. Infinity War is still going to get what it's going to get. But with Deadpool being put right in the middle of the month of May, now you've got people who are going to go watch Solo, people are going to go watch Deadpool, and sometimes the audience will say, well, I'm either going to watch this or this, I'm not going to watch both. A lot of times people will see those two things. They'll pay money for one and then they'll pirate the other. So the money that's going to come in for those, I feel like it's going to hurt both movies as far as the box office numbers are concerned. I want all the comic book properties and sci-fi properties and things like that to do well in the box office. I don't want one to do less good than the other. The better that one does, the better it affects all the other ones. And for it to come in and possibly sabotage what could possibly happen with this other Walt Disney property, that's what I see it as. X-Men, The Dark Phoenix, was not in my top 10 hype video, didn't even make an honorable mention, and I could explain to you why, but that's not the whole point of this video. This one right here is to explain something that came to me, something that I realized. So first off, they moved their release date from November to October. I'm pretty much okay with that. It is going to be in direct competition with Venom now, but we haven't really seen a trailer for each, so pretty much whichever studio gets their trailer out first is going to have the most hype to it. But as I said, that's not the concern that I have. The concern that I have deals with the timeline. X-Men The Dark Phoenix is supposed to take place in the 90s. As we've seen with the prequels, it started in the 60s with First Class, then we had the 70s with Days of Future Past, and the 80s with Apocalypse. Now we've got the 90s with Dark Phoenix. According to the schedule, now the 2000s, that'll be like your early 2000s, that'll be your X-Men, your mid 2000s X2, and you had the events of Days of Future Past kind of retcon a lot of the things that happened in The Last Stand. So why do I have an issue with this? In your first three movies, X1, 2, and 3, you've got a linear timeline. We're going to call that Timeline A. And at the end of Timeline A, you get a glimpse of it in Days of Future Past, where the Sentinels have taken over. Now Wolverine gets sent back to kind of clear up all of this issues with Mystique killing Trask. At the end of the movie, you see Mystique doesn't kill Trask, and whenever Wolverine is sent back, we are at a much happier time where the X-Men are all alive and everything's okay. We see Beast and we see Cyclops and we see Kitty Pryde and Colossus and the Professor, and everybody's there and everybody's alive. Especially Jean Grey. What are the consequences of this movie since we have seen into the future? It looks like the consequences are... There are a few characters that we have not seen anything of at the end of Days of Future Past. We don't know what happens with Mystique. We don't know what happens with Magneto. But we see Beast is perfectly fine, Cyclops is fine, and Jean is fine. Are they going to do a whole she's dead but she resurrects herself? I don't think so. I don't think that they have time to make that into a narrative, because Disney is about to say, let me take the wheel. So, we've got a movie that's been put into production limbo. We've got a movie that's been pushed back into production purgatory. We've got a movie that's been pushed forward into a release NATO. And now we've got a movie that looks like the consequences aren't going to be worth purchasing a ticket. Which is why I didn't put it in my top 10. So what does this mean? I don't know. Will I still go watch these movies? If they come out, yes, I will. But from what I can see, they're making a lot of bad moves. Come on, Fox. Come on, Fox. Do not peter out at the very end of what you've done. Because I'll be honest, what you've done is outstanding. You didn't hit home runs, every single one, but you established a wonderful X-Men franchise. Without you, we wouldn't have Patrick Stewart as Professor X. We wouldn't have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or Halle Berry as Storm. We wouldn't have the Wolverine trilogy, which ended on such a great note with Logan. We wouldn't have Deadpool, who is starting to come into his own as a character. We wouldn't have all these things. We wouldn't be able to make fun of Fantastic Four movies if it weren't for you, Fox. So come on, finish strong at the end, because right now I'm worried about what's going to happen. Ease my worries. I want to feel good about the last offerings that you have to give. Don't let me down, Fox. Wow, we've got some good stuff here. All right, tell me what you guys think about the comments that I've made. New Mutants, Gambit, X-Men Dark Phoenix, Deadpool 2. Tell me if you think that I'm wrong on some stuff. Tell me if you agree with me. The comments are right there, down below. Also, share this with everybody. I'm starting to get a lot of good feedback coming from different people. I know that people are starting to get interested in some things. I want you guys to be a part of the community, but it only happens if you share it with the people that you know would be interested in this sort of thing. So definitely give it a share. Give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I've got some videos here. We started the road to Infinity War. Just click over here and you can get started with episode number 1, Iron Man. Also, check out my 2018 hype video, and it tells you what I'm looking forward to for this upcoming year. New Mutants didn't make the list, so I don't have to make any edits. Ta! Anyway, as always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. You guys have a great day.